Today in our shapes and measurement book, we're going to be adding a page for the parallelogram. So when you open it up in your table of contents, after the trapezoid, page 5 is going to be the parallelogram. To me, it sounds like a pair of L's, which is really important because that is in the definition or one of the characteristics of a parallelogram. Okay? Again, like I said, if you need time to write that, and I'm going too fast, just pause the video and then you can resume after you're done writing. So if you look at the first page, it is a rectangle. And according to the attributes of a parallelogram, you would have to have parallel lines on opposite sides. So a rectangle is actually a parallelogram because both of the lines opposite of each other are parallel. They're going the same direction. A square would also be a parallelogram because it has the pair of L's, those two lines going in the same direction, opposite of each other. The trapezoid would not be a parallelogram because if you look, this line and this line are indeed parallel, but when it comes to these two, they are not parallel. If they were to keep going, let me grab another pen here. If they were to keep going, if those lines do not stop, they're eventually going to run into each other. So the trapezoid is not a parallelogram. So let's go ahead and write the title, parallelogram. Give yourself some room because it's a long word. And I like that because the L's are parallel to each other. Parallelogram. Okay? Now this particular parallelogram that we're going to be drawing today has another name. It's called a rhombus. Rhombus. Okay? To make a rhombus, or this parallelogram, we're going to start with a straight line going across. And so then you know the opposite line over here needs to be parallel to that. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that. So we've got parallel lines. Now the difference is this. If I just do a straight parallel lines on the other side, then I've drawn a rectangle. But remember, today we're making a rhombus. So for this one, you might want to get your ruler to make it nice and straight. I'm going to go diagonal or oblique, which means now I have to draw that line a little bit bigger. And over here, I need to make it parallel. If I go the opposite direction, see this one is angled to the left here. If I go this way to the right, then all I've made is that trapezoid. So I want to go in the same direction. So just slide your ruler over, which means that now I'm going to draw my line from the bottom. And then I'm going to have to connect that one here. Okay? So that is a rhombus or a parallelogram. What are the attributes to a parallelogram? The attributes are the characteristics. When you look at this parallelogram, what do you see? Well, the first thing that you notice is that it has 4, and we're going to say parallel lines. Okay, so that way we know that a parallelogram can also include a square. It's not always just the rhombus. Okay? We also notice that it does have how many corners or angles? 4 angles. All right, and if it has 4 angles, then remember, these also have a name called the vertex, or since there's 4 of them, 4 vertices. All right? Now let's figure out what is the perimeter. For this rhombus, we're going to use, we could use inches. So why don't we do that? This one would be, mine is 4 inches. Now remember when we did it, we didn't use a ruler. So yours may be a little bit different than mine. Okay? And my line on the bottom is also 4 inches. My line over here is closer to the 2, so we'll say that is 2 inches, and over here closer to the 2, so that is also 2 inches. To figure out the perimeter, looks like perimeter, but it is a perimeter, we need to add all 4 sides. So we add 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. And this time, instead of centimeters, we did inches. So the perimeter, P, equals 12 inches. All right? So that is the parallelogram. Remember a parallelogram? Let's go ahead and draw a rectangle, just so that we remember that a parallelogram can also be a rectangle or a square. But this one in particular is a rhombus. All right, we'll see you next time.